Proposals and policies targeting LGBTQ+ people are on the rise, and America's schools have become a battleground. Check out recent developments in Florida's Leon County. The school board recently endorsed a so-called inclusive school guide on how to foster better learning environments for LGBTQ+ youth. But one policy laid out in that guide is sparking a backlash. While emphasizing that students are allowed to use locker rooms and restrooms that correspond to their gender identity, the guide states, upon notification or determination of a student who is open about their gender identity, parents of the affected students will be notified of reasonable accommodation options available. The guide lists an example of what this notification would look like, a notification that says, in part, a student who is open about their gender identity may be in your child's physical education class or extra co-curricular activity. If you are requesting accommodation for your student, please contact school administration to discuss reasonable accommodation options. Now, opponents of the provision warn that it could lead to students being outed and may also further ostracize LGBTQ+ teens, whom the guide itself acknowledges are more at risk for depression, self-harm, and suicide. NBC's Stephanie Stanton joins us live from St. Petersburg, Florida. Stephanie, why do school officials say this guide is necessary?
Well, good afternoon to you, Michael. School officials say guidance is necessary so that they can be in compliance with this new law ahead of the upcoming school year. What's interesting about it, there are so many different aspects to this and a lot to unpack, but Republicans say that this is a Parental Rights and Education Act, that it gives them more authority and control over their children's education, including being notified if their child is struggling, perhaps with gender identity issues or sexual orientation issues. But as you said, LGBTQ advocates fear that it could make students targets of bullying or worse. Earlier today, we spoke to an LGBTQ advocate for the state of Florida, and he pointed out, he says, listen, we are here. LGBTQ, trans people, they are your friends, your neighbors, your loved ones. They are part of this community, and they are not going away no matter what legislation is put forth within the state of Florida and beyond. So a lot going on here, a lot to unpack, but schools are basically scrambling to come up with bylaws such as we saw in Leon County to get those in place ahead of the upcoming school year.
So, Stephanie, as you've already noted, the policy comes on the heels of Florida's parental rights law, education law, known as the Don't Say Gay bill, that's taken effect. How has that changed the landscape for LGBTQ+ students and staff in Florida schools?
Well, you know, Michael, this is what we're hearing now, that school districts across the state are trying to figure out how do we implement this. For example, in Orange County, which is in the Orlando area, the Teachers Association has reported that their LGBTQ teachers in grades kindergarten through 3 were told not to wear anything rainbow and to essentially not put up pictures of their family members. There are also reports that in Palm Beach County, there were a couple of books that were taken out of circulation which had identified gender issues. So there's so many different things going on right now. There's a lot in play, a lot in motion. But quite frankly, Michael, there's a lot of uncertainty, but there is also a lot of fear, especially among members of the LGBTQ community.
NBC's Stephanie Stanton, thank you very much for your reporting. Here to talk about what's going on in Florida State, in Florida, is State Senator Shevrin Jones. Shevrin, welcome. Real pleasure to have you. What steps are you and your fellow lawmakers taking to try to offset any backlash against the LGBTQ+ community right now?
Thank you so much, Michael. I think what we see right now is you have organizations like Save, Equality Florida, and other organizations that are working with not just legislators, but also with support groups and giving them the tools that they need to show young LGBTQ youth and allies to give them the support that they need since the school districts can't do it. LGBTQ youth are 4 times more likely, Michael, to commit suicide. And it's not because of who they are, but it's because of how they are treated. And so in this, what we're seeing right now is the consequences of living in Ron DeSantis' free state of Florida, a state that is not safe for anyone that doesn't move and think like Ron DeSantis and the Republicans in Florida. And with children already battling so much, it is policies like this in Leon County that are out of touch and honestly are just flat out wrong. When school districts should be spending the time right now creating policies to continue to deal with the COVID slide and the learning loss of students, school districts have to now sidestep and deal with this new law and try to figure out how they can make sure that teachers in the school districts are not sued.
So, Senator, I'm an outsider, all right? But I have to admit, I'm not seeing or hearing about widespread outrage or protests from parents and community activists. So the question begs itself, are Floridians okay with this don't say gay environment that Governor DeSantis has created?
The communities don't like it. Even members of my church who I've spoken with, they don't like it either because they feel as if all the governor and the Republicans are doing are picking on marginalized people. You were just seeing just not too long ago, even in Orange County. Orange County had a great deal of parents, LGBTQU parents and allied parents, who came together to speak with the school board to make it clear that, listen, we support our children. We and the school district need to support their students, and the state of Florida needs to be supporting students. We shouldn't be dealing with parental rights and education in this manner and what we're doing, considering the fact, Michael, that parents already have rights, and the fact that the Republicans in Florida are using this as their guise to be nasty and bigoted towards the LGBTQ community.
So, Senator, I've got a little bit less than a minute left. So 2 points. One, how concerned are you about other school districts adopting similar guidelines? And are you worried about people just being so complacent that this just gets inculcated and people just move on from it?
Absolutely. I'm definitely concerned. I think everyone should be concerned, because if you can do it to the LGBTQ community, who's next?
Florida State Senator Sevin Drones, thank you so much for being a part of the conversation. Next, it's time to head to the Culture Corner, where we're talking about history being made in the NFL with the first black female president and the free food people think they got from one delivery service that had a major glitch. Will they have to pay up? Well, stay with us and find out.